Literally, it is written in God's word that if a man does not provide for his family, including members of his own household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. So when you're out ignoring the needs of your own daughter and then you go to Rhema on Sunday, whatever, it does not matter what other activity you have got. When you are harboring ill sentiment, true religion is to take care of widows and orphans. When Christ is hungry and you're not feeding him, when he's naked and you're not clothing him, when he's thirsty and you're not giving him a drink, when he needs hospitality and you're not inviting him in, when he is naked, when he is in prison and sick and you are not besuking, you do nothing but mere churchianity instead of Christianity. You've got somebody in your backyard that actually keeps you telling you those things, and then you, however, rather choose to go to Rhema, gather for yourself a great number of teachers to teach you what your itching ears want to hear. It's a last days epidemic. I've got that as a challenge in my family, and of course it is no wonder therefore that I also have that as a challenge right inside my YouTube channel from South Africans. Look at how they have beleaguered me on all sides, blocked me, paid some strange lady or people at YouTube to ascertain that my advanced features are taken away alongside my channel just be severely shadow banned. I don't get viewed, I don't go anywhere. And the people who did this to me are not the Americans, understand that. The people who did this to me are South Africans out here paying bribes to an American social media network. Similarly too, with Facebook, they did the same thing. South Africans did this to me because indeed, just like it's written indeed here in John 4, a prophet has no honor in his own hometown. You will literally go in your land like everybody else and listen to some scratching your ear, strange soothsayer in a tent at Gold Reef City, fast and furious, before you will listen to Karabo say, I'm never going to be your mistress. And as for the one mistress that you have right now, like a bird, a man, the way that Christ loved the church. Be faithful to your wife and stop doing strange rituals and what have you, out afflicting all of South Africa, decimating its economy, because absent of doing that, you're gonna die. Yeah, no. Die gaining no conviction. It's all good in the hood. Because you're not gonna tell me where to get off. Okay. Well, a woman was told where to get off here by Christ, who was very frank with candor, and yet she went to her people and said, oh, I met a man who knows everything about me. Instead of being upset that Christ found her dirty laundry. You must respond like the woman at the well. But it doesn't matter. Bottom line is, brace yourself for the fact that these people have been trained over years to basically avoid hurting me because it hurts them. They hurt themselves by hurting me. They make like Christina Aguilera. They literally hurt themselves by hurting me. And it is something that they have experienced on a loop repetitively so very many times that they now actively avoid it. For the sake of their own peace, my family actively avoids listening to my content sometimes, so they won't get all riled up, and so therefore end up persecuting me. And if they decide to act and flare up into the measly pathogenic mumps that they flare up into, the guilt is so severe that they remember that this is not worth it. So I have longer seasons of respite from them. I have gotten times where a whole month or two will progress where it is that all I'm making war with are my enemies out there in the wilderness, but not so much thing. Every so often they will afflict me by letting me wash the dishes alone for like 3 to 4 days, following which my mom will feel guilty and then pitch in. My older sister, who nearly drove me to suicide a couple of months ago, no longer is acting a fool. I no longer walk around in the house wearing headphones in my ear and listening to music all loud, because she has stopped just following me around with derision, because it turned out so badly for her. There was a day when I pushed a wawa pansy and got a doompi at the back of her head, because I got to a point where I was so angry at her following me around. I was busy working out and I pushed her and it hurt her and it made me feel really guilty. But after that day, she stopped doing strange things, because then my mom had to intervene, and my mom basically told me that next time come to me and I will tell her to shut up on your behalf, because my mom would not do anything about it. Ever since then, she has stopped. There are many other interventions that I have embarked on behalf of my sister as a Christian that make her less basically taking for granted of me, because she moved back home now seasonally to fix her life and whatnot. And when initially the first month or two when she was here, literally she nearly drove me to suicide. So even the person that was not trained over many years to not be so horrific towards me adjusted within mere weeks, because everybody else had adjusted. That is the grace of God. Hey, that, dear human individuals, is the grace of God. So allow me to just kind of put this out there, that you don't get to massacre into oblivion a child of the living God and anticipate that God is not going to viciously and virulently intervene. Okay? The Lord knows what I can take. And all of this discord sowing, actually there is something that I need to do that I just remembered now that is going to make it impossible for me to concentrate if I don't do it. But I don't like that giza because it's getting late-ish. Now, alright. Whatever. And no, we are not going to be brothing anymore. Okay, cool beans and bananas, whatever. Right, yes. Okay, now I can speak at leisure, but then I've lost my train of thought, but I will find it again. I need to blow my nose, you heard that. Yes, Kimaswabi, all of you Discord sowers, like, Kisori. I'm sorry if it all me. Doing this with my nose is disgusting, but there's nothing more disgusting than virulent psychopathic occult men. So just concentrate on everything else that I've said about them and consider the act of me blowing my nose like the act of fragrancing with potpourri your whole bathroom. Like, make it cute. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, potpourri. Okay, listen, the silent T over there is like the power of God. Booyah. Okay, whatever. Cool beans and bananas. All these men that set women up for failure, you saw in Proverbs 6? Was it 6? Yeah, you saw in Proverbs 6 from verse 19 how God feels about those who sow discord between brothers and feet that are quick to shed innocent blood, hasty eyes, haughty eyes, lying tongue, haughty eyes, a lying tongue, those who are quick to devise wicked plans, feet that are hasty to shed innocent blood, a person that bears false witness, and then the dude that out here is sowing discord between brothers. I don't know if I've left anything out over there because I'm trying to record it from the top of my brainy tap establishment thing. Yeah, you know that God ain't feeling you the very same way that I ain't feeling you. Like, I proper ain't feeling you. You are spreading HIV across South Africa. You also don't have a care in the world about the fact that you keep on impregnating women despite being HIV positive, albeit these women coming out on the other side with healthy babies. They in and of themselves are not healthy unless these women, I don't know, like, yo, hey, Chad, if a woman is actually sleeping with you falling pregnant, she is not taking PrEP quickly enough within a window period, within a set amount of time to eradicate contracting the virus altogether, because you don't tend to come in letting them know that you are HIV positive. You don't disclose an HIV positive status to a mistress. You disclose an HIV positive status if you are an honest person to an individual that you are falling in love with, that you hope to build a future with. That is who you disclose HIV to. So if you are just already walking in indiscretion, you are not going to disclose your HIV statuses. So therefore, your mistresses that out here are falling pregnant are discovering that they are pregnant and HIV positive at particular junctures. And then they are saving their children's lives by taking the precautions. And you want to do the same thing to me. This guy the dude in America, he's Brad Pitt in Meet Joe Black, out here taking Claire Forlani to death himself. Yeah, that little freak, psychopath, no-brainer in the US, Otlojang a bullet. He flat out lied to my face that he was HIV positive. Because that's the thing, they know the range of options that are available to HIV positive people in light of whatever facet of existence they want to outwork with their sexual lives, including pregnancy. They know, they research it, and sometimes upon discovering certain information, actively walk in a deliberate deception. That is a crime. It is frankly culpable homicide. But they do it anyway, because we live in the era of fat, very healthy bakebile, peach cheeks, rosy, and looking all healthy and stellar, for many years with an HIV diagnosis, HIV positive people, it's no longer the death sentence that it used to be. Just because I can live a nice, healthy life with the diagnosis until I'm 98 does not mean I should have to. It does not mean I should have to. I don't want to. I avoided it for good reason. Like, guys, you know, there was a time when you were 24. Why? Don't you see it's a generational curse? Why do you keep on predictably being the middle-aged men that infected our generation, us millennials, when we were on the come-up? It's always been these older men that are 40, 50, 35 and up, 25-year-olds, 24-year-olds, 22-year-olds, that infect them, and then they infect each other within their 18 to 25 demographic. It's always been that way. Like when I was on the come up, when I was in high school studying in biology, the logistics of HIV, those were the stats then. And they're still the stats now. It is still older men that are infecting the youth of which then in turn infect each other. Why did you become those men that we read about in biology, that we studied about in statistics and little pamphlets at clinics that we read? Why did you predictably become them? It's like mankind cannot cure themselves. Physician, heal thyself, that saith the Lord's word. They can't cure themselves. They can't help but repeat history. It's a cycle of psychosis. And this time around, this cycle of psychosis is out of hand due to the addiction to witchcraft that people now today have. Now you are forcing otherwise moral women into adulterous affairs, thinking that they're just falling in love by Kazagila. This is what they want. Because men are megalomaniacal. And they won't take no for an answer. And in trying to rule them with an iron fist, I say whether or not you like it. Yesterday when I was busy out here, tsasaring my face, trying to fade my hyperpigmentation, and I think it's working. Okay? It is. I'm looking at the mirror here. I've got a skincare routine that's actually killing it. It's kicking it. It's like it's a mask, guys, that I put on twice a day. It's killing it. One day I'll let you know. Once this fades, anyway, whatever. Yeah. I don't even know why it's there. Maybe get so far, but I don't care. Or maybe I do care. I'm not banani and what you think at this particular juncture, because because this dark mark over here. I'll take you to a dermatologist. I know a kitchen ingredient or two that can remove hyperpigmentation, okay? Alrighty, moving on. Let's just get back straight to the point. The loss of my train of thought is like a whole epidemic in my life. Yes, got it. Yesterday when I was out here trying to like tassa my face, I got a word of knowledge from the Lord that said that after these guys sleep with a woman without protection and infect them with HIV, they feel like trash. Remember yesterday I did a video speaking about that Okie that used to go to my university that frankly is like in the closet and stuff like that, like Lomuntu okay, and yet he's actually trying to hang with Crank K. Yeah, whatever. I spoke about that Okie in yesterday's video, and then the Lord gives me and he's HIV positive, right? The Lord then gives me a word of knowledge and tells me that some of these guys, including him, without protection, spreading the illness, essentially, they feel like trash. But that's just the problem with umuntu that imagines something unnecessary evil, telling themselves, I'm not going to go out alone. Like when you feel horrible for walking in darkness, your conscience is speaking volumes, so therefore you are without excuse. It's not like God has left you out on a limb, making it such that you feel nothing. You feel uncomfortable. But you tell yourself, like you know that saying with women, that in other words, if you want to be beautiful, you just gotta ride out all the pain of you gotta ride out all the pain of plucking or tweezing your brows. Gaga first. You gotta ride out olo hebe sehlasela mafuta hoba slender olo shapaka hourglass shapey, because botle buya itshokelwa. You will hold out. O apara tsupna somnganga engwe ya go ba tate. O sa gone dula go stulong for the sake of looking like a Barbie doll, because botle buya itshokelwa. Go botlhoko no ke feelang ka tsa moja ba no tshware ke tlala again. Go botlhoko no stop plucking your eyebrows. Di right di bushy jwalo there from your grandmother. Leave your unibrow alone. Like blah blah blah. Because no, you don't have to uguzi talk in the midst of something painful. You don't have to holotumpa tension engwe e hard noko chororo. It's like here, chill, right? So for the sake of looking cute, because then you're gonna get those small little bumps, and then you're gonna get traction alopecia. Out here getting baby zang this thingy my bobby. Your edges, diabaleja, receding, like the ocean line before a tsunami or something. Because we're not botle boy tokela o batla mogopotso ole o hectic, you can still out here rock something cute with a low tension hairstyle. There are ways around it, so no botle, it does not have to be tokela ha botloko hakana hape tsa mo reka size ya hao girl ya borugu mo lifing, because you can still look cute wearing clothes that fit instead of disomnganga somtsumpareng. There are ways around just disquiet in the body, because when I feel like botle boy tokela, yeah, these guys basjeluguti the pain of what do you call this, the pain of their guilt. But because revenge, or all of us being in the same boat of having to take ARVs for the rest of our lives. Once we are all there, then I'm no longer going to be the thing that sticks out and a stigma. I'm no longer going to struggle with love. I'm no longer going to struggle with Nabiguti. I feel like trash for being HIV positive. So if I can infect all of the university, all of the colleagues, all of the women that I meet, once we are all in it together, we can sway left and right in this misery that loves company. Yeah, but instead of it being being able to homeostatically relate with everybody, it makes me feel guilty. All of South Africa just to get to that homeostasis. If everybody was HIV positive, then I wouldn't feel like trash. Yeah. Somnganga o na le di-varicose veins tse ding tse green tse thick, and therefore be unseemly. O ntse o na le magwegwe. Ha o tlo ba le motho lo le taba la rona le magwegwe o na le di-varicose veins tse dika. Because when you can't help but wear isomnganga. That's what I'm getting at. Labantu that out here are spreading the disease, some of them are guilty. But guilty. Mara, you keep spreading it. That guilt is God's. Cling, 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 cling. Do better. There is an eternal life to be enjoyed. Do you understand? Where there will be no disease, no more crying, no more nothing. You will inherit an incorruptible body that can no longer get a blood disease. And yet you are out here squandering your eternal soul over a bitterness that somebody else irresponsibly transferred a virus into your body when you were negative and did not tell you that bagul. Without even realizing what it's all of your sexual proclivity, your promiscuity, that got you HIV in the first place. If you had been celibate, if you had been consecrated, if you had been faithful to your wives, if you would not have contracted it. If you had not been doing satanic rituals with men and with women, orgies and whatnot just to gain wealth, you'd still be with a clean bill of health today. So there is always a root cause attributed to your own irresponsibility as to why you're in that position, and now you're gonna go and endure other people out there through your nonsense. But hey, thank God, I'm celibate. You see, the soul that sins is the only one that shall die. I'm celibate. I'm waiting on God for a husband. And I am unmanipulable with witchcraft spirits that are gonna make me lie under you like a Nando's chicken the way that you made a woman that initially said no. Do it anyway. I cannot be manipulated with spirits. Marababis. So now the tactic, the strategy, the new modus operandi is to get me yelled at by my family because some of the things I say here in my ministry are taboo. I had a horrible nightmare where my mom was out rapping on motlogonyaka, and the word that I caught in all of that yelling in my dream was unalese bit. That means I've got the liver. I mean, I didn't need to hear the rest of that sentence. I would imagine it goes something along the lines of unalese bit sa go bua nyoko ka rona mo interneting unzo bua ka all of the nonsense that's coming our way. Let's ka lebala hore even me highlighting or mentioning anything about my cousin, my uncle, whatnot was because the Lord was comparing all of y'all to them. It's like examples of my life next to people that are trying to come in. I don't know how many times my late dad gets compared to one of these guys that are all up in my grill. My father was an alcoholic, absolute deadbeat dad, irresponsible in the worst way, squandered his entire life, even though he was a very intelligent man, highly qualified, highly educated, a solicitor, could have been a Supreme Court justice in this country, and yet he squandered all that on alcohol. He was a no-brainer deadbeat. And if at all the Lord is going to use my dad to describe to me what some dude that's trying to slide into my DMs is like, he's basically saying, "Uska mona ali cutie kajeko." Remember how you felt about your dad at the time of his death. Because glory had faded from his face, he was no longer handsome. Nase young. He was no longer bugeable. Eh? He was no longer beautiful to look at. He was no longer a good-looking man. When indoda is still handsome and good-looking, ama indiscretions wakhe somehow uyakwazi ukwamelta engathi ilanga on ice cream. You overlook it. It's easy. Ho lebala, hore ke ntja. Because u cute. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. You, even as an ex-wife, you will ask yourself, why did I marry this? By the time my dad died, he was so scrawny, so insignificant, infinitesimal in comparison to my mom. You would ask yourself, the two of them standing next to each other, oh, really? You were once married to this guy? This guy. You would think Uguti, my mom was settling when she married my dad. Settling. Like that don't make sense. But there was a time of glory in my dad's youth. There was an era of splendor, such that it was really hard to basically pin him down for the indiscretions that he committed. Now me, I struggled to have a hard time with my dad until he basically became shwabanat. Old age. And when then you were old, senile, geriatric alongside just with a bad attitude, I suga on that day, there's nobody got to take you in their stride. I'm not told that you have to offer. There's nothing that you have to offer. You can't have both an attitude and also be into eshreben. So when the Lord wants me to understand when I'm looking at a guy, my dad sometimes, and he's like, one day it'll be he's going to be built on nama South Africa throughout its life. Ibile a tyrant, like a menace, like this man that was my dad was just the bane of everything and everyone's existence. Ex-wife, yeah, that was after my mom. He broke baton, he broke everybody. Even after angena luto, alahlekelwa yonke into. Do you understand what I'm saying? He was still at Delela. Like a senile, like one of those old men in like a nursing home that are literally terminal, they're dying. And when the nurses are just dressing their wounds, ba wakana, ba rude, ba senile. Yeah, my dad was like that at the end. Ass like it, you couldn't stand him. Mara in his youth, look, mega handsome. And the Lord is asking babona baleso, ba cute mara, kintatwa how afeletsimo. I'm not gonna let you. Because why? I prayed, right? I prayed to God and he gave me answered prayer. I prayed to God. How many times I see myself being my mom in the 90s and 80s under that man. My mom went through hell, Lankutla. And it's repeating again, but this time with a dude that is, still usegabugega. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, like I prayed. In company ka ba single na if a wicked man were to come into my life, mina ngambulala. So it's ideal that no such thing is happening at present because it's self-preserving for me to reject them. Mara the way bang patlang ka ding. Because why should you since na ba bugeka? Leteng ibubugeka babona is 5 seconds out the window ya fofa. Mabani, as I was laying down in bed, ke haki utwa one of them, but I come as such a nice joy as in la matota ya telela man yo. That's why he was saying to himself, but she comes at such a high discount. I can't let go. I can't give up. I didn't like it like a discount. Nah. It's like finding a Gucci purse by Rekisa somehow strangely go pep for like a severe markdown. Utoreka purse ya Gucci for 150 rand go pep. Real Gucci. This dude just I come at that kind of a crazy discount. like finding a Burberry coat in some heap of clothes in downtown Joburg. You know how in downtown Joburg, when basadi ba rekisang dintho tse ba di thotseng from like in the beginning of my sorrow, when I was living by myself in one of my apartments in 4 ways, facing not eviction but having to move out because I couldn't pay rent. I was never gonna stay there in Jefela with my landlord Archie having a hard time with me. I struggled to buy food, groceries, and I had diaparo tse di kana. And I went on Gumtree and discovered that there were people that essentially were looking to buy bags of clothes for like $1,000, 500 rands or whatever that you're willing to give to them. When I saw this advert on Gumtree, I was like, look, I've got a lot of clothes. A lot of them I'm probably not going to wear, and I will replenish my wardrobe once I get a job again. So I filled up the bag at guys. My clothes were freaking spectacular, excellent, in 3 bags. And I sold them to a lady for 1,500 rand so I could eat. It broke my heart. It was so hard for me to decide what to part ways with and what to keep. The quality of my clothes, some of them were barely worn, if at all worn, because I used to shop hectically, and sometimes months would progress. Put them in 3 bags, sold them for $1,500, and it hurt, but I let them go. Sometimes you go to downtown Joburg, and when I was a kid, a teenager, my cousin and I used to talk about these honchis, where it is that you will go there. And I remember my cousin, like, it was during the days when leather was like high in fashion, like leather pants and whatnot. And whenever we would go to Diesel or Levi or any Njefela regular FMCG, it was too expensive. Real leather pants, too expensive. Real leather jacket, too expensive. Too expensive. Our parents were never going to part ways with 2,500 rands just to buy us a fashion item. So my cousin and I came up with an idea. Maybe we should go to downtown Joburg and just go to those women, and then they just put price tags on them: 50 rand, 20 rand, 30 rand, 25 rand, etc. And every so often you will literally find a gem. You'll find a real Burberry. You'll find a real Gucci. You'll find a real, like, something. There's somebody likely in my position, like what happened in 4 ways when I was living in that apartment. Somebody with high quality valuables, with high quality stuff, right? Property. But they're poor, they need to make money. They need to eat. Bread, basic bread. And they will sell diaparo tse costing more than 30,000 rands for 1,500 rands in 3 bags. God knows what I've lost. He will restore to me that which the palmer worm, the canker worm, the swarming locust, the devouring worm, whatever, has stolen, okay? In Batazam, anyway, whatever. It was shoes and it was dieta le diaparo. Mara dieta, I sold them at a different time though. That's what's good. Anyway, whatever. That happened. That whole khonchi, when I was in high school, that my cousin and I, those khonchis we wanted to go to, we never did go, but we did contemplate it, right? Those khonchis. But when I was in varsity, my friend had a whole bunch of clothes from that khonchi. I'll actually get to that story just now. Yeah. No, sometimes you would find real gems. We knew that real gems were findable in these khonchis because my cousin had a friend who had found a beautiful, perfect leather, real genuine leather skirt that was like burnt orange, right? And a khonchi like that, white tolanje, just chilling. And she bought it for like, I think, $80. Wahamba, waihlatwa, removed all the smell of downtown Joburg and rocked up. Adi khata all up in our girl. Ili sister famous, elite for the day. And we were like, yo, we would never know that you did not get that from Diesel. We would never know that. Yeah, you get my point. When I got to varsity, I had a friend, Onarada, who shopper there. She used to drive. She was the only one on a driver out of all of us, like a red Golf. She was introduced to Lamahonji by some guy that she used to date. She had a designer boyfriend. A boyfriend yakona narada vele who hustler here and there. I got random materials in downtown Joburg and introduced her essentially to this side of fashion, right? So she would go nae and trudge and dig through diaparo that you will feel kind of low-key grossed out and so busy because you don't know what's the did this woman wash them first before she came and sold them, whatever. But then you would find actual gems, and by gems I mean designer stuff that is the real deal, like a real Fendi, a real Gucci, but it's out here literally retailing for 75 rands because we're taught in a heap of diaparo tse rekiswang ko downtown Joburg ke mokhozinyana that's trying to make a living by selling clothes to the poor. Yeah, her designer boyfriend introduced her to that whole lifestyle, right? These little randos, di kuspante tsa di konopo, di paniki tsa banna. Hona le one maobane ene rekanna through a word of knowledge that I got from God. Onare yo, but she comes at such a crazy discount. Yo, Jesus, I ain't season with discount why? Cause I'm 40 first and foremost. Discount why? Cause I'm poor, I'm bereft, I'm devastated, I'm destitute. Discount why? Cause I just come with a whole bunch of lots of gifting, lots of talent, I'm just basically an all-rounder, great find. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord, but I am abandoned. I'm marginalized. I've just been left. And Gunenja, like the plethora of these crazies, they're saying, I would like to let this go because this chick finds us as a pet peeve. Uzonda madoda agcwele ngemithi. Ukangithi siyahlanya ene uyasizonda, and ukuzonda kwakhe ngiyakufila grandshap come on, it pierces through ingathi grudge, that horror movie The Ring, where that little girl comes out through a screen. Yeah, she's a haunting like that. The way I zonda ngakhona or khwele habutlhoka, and I can tell. Marajar though, she comes at such a hard knock discount. I mean, do you see why I can't stand it? I hate them. Like, I hate them. Alright, take about khwele jaga The Ring. 7 days. That's when you're gonna die. I hate them. Because they think of me as a perfectly viable Gucci purse that was sold by a wealthy woman facing foreclosure on her house, just so she could eat bread for the day. Wavela waitengisa to umkhozi that she found on Gumtree, that bought 45,000 rands worth of purses for 2,000 rands. Pawn store. I've seen myself also just kind of chilling in a pawn shop. You know how a pawn shop is also this environment where people be out just selling. I don't know, guys, I've gone through hell on earth. I never thought that I would know which among the cash converters and the cash crusaders are the most rewarding when you pawn your stuff. Between the one yako for Wazy, the one yako that square go Auckland Park, these students, versus the one yako Hill Fox, versus the one yako, I never thought that I would know the difference in how they reward out of these cash converters, to a point where I can say the one yako Bryanston is the best cash crusaders, because of how many of my furniture items I have pawned. I've lost a washing machine, I've lost a vinyl player, music, I've lost carpets, vases, mirrors, just trying to eat. Guys. So my stuff was new. Remember, I had bought new furniture, and only within a few months I lost my job. So most of my stuff was under a year old. 2 years at most. And I out here be selling it at cash crusaders, cash converters, whatever, just to eat. And when you walk into a cash crusaders or cash converters and you look at the stuff that they sell there, it's obviously stuff that people are just tired of. It's some mirror and scratch, it's some side lamp and what. Okay, but my stuff, you would think it's fresh off the floor of Rochester, or fresh off the floor of Mr. Price Home, of At Home, fresh off the store of Boardman's before by Kuala. Yeah. My stuff was new, Joe. And it was chilling there looking like brand spanking new. from Hi-Fi Corp, but it's chilling go cash crusaders. That's the pain. Yo, guys, that is the pain of what it is that I have had to endure. I have lost the Bible in Mark 10. Mark 10. I need to have coffee. The Bible in Mark 10 says the things that people have endured me through, right? One second. It is written in Mark 10 from verse 28. It is written, Peter began to say to him, "See, we have left everything and followed you." Jesus said, "Truly I say to you, there is no one who has left house or brothers or sisters or mother or father or children or lands for my sake and for the gospel, who will not receive 100-fold now in this time houses, brothers and sisters and mothers and children and lands, with persecutions, and in the age to come eternal life. But many who are first will be last, and the last first." I've lost everything. And God said I'm going to gain 100-fold over. So I know what it's like to have a brand spanking new mirror refrigerator wingback. I had this letter wingback. If I could show you a photo of my own apartment with this wingback, you would be broken yourself, okay? This beautiful little couchy wingback that I sold for, I think it was, I forgot, like maybe 800 rands. I bought it for close to 4,000 at Coreycroft. And I sold it for 800 rand just a few months from the date that I bought it. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, y'all. God have mercy on my soul. It hurt to let go of my wingback. But it was either that wingback being sold so I could eat, or me essentially becoming a prostitute. Out here allowing my body to be taken by somebody or 200 rand back some guy on Nangshela in the complex. Sleep with him so that I could have groceries for the month. Yeah, no, it was either my wingback or that. So it was my wingback. When a person looks at you like a perfectly beautiful 5,000 rands worth wingback chilling at cash converters that is out here being sold for $1,000 for 1,500 rand, the owner of which sold it for 800 rands. When a person looks at you like that, I know, Shem, your justice comes from nowhere but Jesus. Ain't nobody out here gonna protect you from being bought for 1,500 rand when you retail rather at 5,000 rands, having been sold, however, for just 800 rand. God is going to protect you from being a Gucci purse in a clump, in a pile of the baggage at Chipizako Mr. Price. God is going to be the one to say, you might have clumped my daughter in at cash freaking crusaders, at cash converters, at a pawn store, but ain't nobody gonna lift her. I don't mo rekang. A tlo mo betsa tsa ka 400 ranta, a ba tlo mo fa nqulaza. A lo beya ngwana mo mpeng ya hae. Ngwana ka ba content o tlo ja di ARV for the rest of her life because at least na le ngwana that's HIV negative. Ain't no man gonna come and take me like that. But you see, it's men that do this to women. The men put me in a position to struggle to get a basic provision, a basic job, basic things that I need. They put me in a position ya go sotlega ha botlhoko hakana. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because once you have taken a woman that had a very healthy salary and impoverished her over a decade, all of a sudden 4,000 rands is going to look really meaty. It's going to look juicy. When before they laid two man, chum change to me. But if you were to give me a wadia 4,000 rands right now, as a man on bitch, it's like I'm gonna feel like it's $1 million because I have not had money in a while. Whereas there was a time when 4 grand was like, I don't know, 2 days worth of expenditure. It was groceries. That's what's good. When you are made to look at 100 rands as 10,000 rands, God is not going to let you get taken over by somebody got 200 randa, because to you it's like 20,000 rands. There are some El Cheapo, poor little deadbeat boys that think I'm viable. However, right next to them there are also millionaires that will set me up in entire loft apartments without realizing that I should be a businesswoman running her own establishment out here, competing even in business with the likes of you. And yet you are out here paying my rent. Make like a flower and jablom. Relax. You will die. You don't get to sow discord in my life and then fly me to London. Do you understand? Because apparently that's better than ukbechelwa inja eblome endlini RDP near 1,000 rands, because I don't even have that much. It's like they're comparing the barometer here. The barometer is them. It's not so much God or even where I should be. It's them. They are looking at men like them on the left and on the right. On some, okay, the guy go America can't just set her across the world. I can. The other dude, Ole, osnang mosebetsi ke little bit of a rubbish office of boto ko habona. Akase khoni. Holo send her on a shopping spree. Hore babalo kwala Gucci kaofela ko Santon so she can shop. I can do that though. They're competing with freaking each other without realizing that I should never mind be shopping at Gucci, but I should have shares in Gucci by now. It's not about the barometer of where I should be. It's about where they each all are. Without realizing that Gaofelabo and with all of their occult magic, I should be beyond literally all of them. They have made sure I can't make money. Umfazi ohlakaniphile kabuhlungu kanjena akakwazi nokuyenza ngithi 200 rands. So of course when you are just buying me the baddest retinol in the game, edurang ebizang 1,500 rands for a bottle, you are gonna think you're freaking special, dude, without realizing that I should be able to do all that for myself. I have perspective. That's what matters. Gabon. I have perspective. I recognize that I am misplaced as a brand spanking new refrigerator at a cash converters, a brand spanking new washing machine at a cash converters. That God will not allow to get bought by just anybody because people have placed me in a pawn store. Angyotengwa mina as a Gucci purse amidst a heap of cheap clothes in downtown Joburg. But there are men who think of me as heavily discounted. Yo guys, hale poke and poke. That's why I'm busy investing lawyer, but like I did say, that you would be doing this all the way up until the end. You're like Janus and Jambres, hey? These miscreants of the last days, all that they do is worm their way into the lives of weak-willed women seeking to burden them with passions. All you can do is make women live in absolute squalor and obscurity and then rock up and make them accept you and your HIV. And then comfort them with the fact that, but baby, our baby does not have to have HIV. There are ways around it. Make a woman out just settle for hard knock scraps because you're paying her rent. Umfazi that can't breastfeed her own child because she's HIV positive from you. At least ngwana o healthy. Yo, guys, get sharp. I'm freaking good. Like I am good, Lankutla. In the worst way, get sharp. But it is precisely because Kirikishapo that they feeling that it's only a matter of time. And that's why you are gonna die. On social media, you will keep sowing discord. But understand that even if my mother capitulates to that witchcraft, after 2 days, she's gonna bounce back. You'll feel like guilty and then do something for me to make me feel better again. And it's gonna be another 3 months before she ever does this again because she's going to remember how much it made her feel like trash. But there's always the whole standing in the gap for oneself thing, right? There's always the whole God, please, I can't take another lash on my back with a cat o' nine tails. Please block the spell from working where they're trying to get my mom to listen to something of mine on social media. And then I'm raseze for 2 hours, following which she will feel guilty I got cheesecake because she knows I like it. And then after that, Beke recover. I don't even want to have to go through it because they know that I am literally at the precipice of death. But a small little prick will make me suicidal. These men know that I've been skinned. My cousin tried to get me yelled at by my mom. It didn't work. Because God knows that I'm skinned. And when a person has been skinned, when you brace a feather across their skin like that, across them, it hurts ingati they're being scratched. Because they've been skinned. The smallest little breeze on my skin hurts because I've been skinned. So God is not going to allow me to get a shower of rubbish because I've been skinned. He knows I am sensitive. Too sensitive. to take rubbish, and based on my sensitivities, he will then allow what he will allow and disallow what he will disallow. Your witchcraft is within a linear regression constraint set. It will only do this much and not much more. But my prayers are going to do that which I perpetually seek the Lord's face to achieve, the end of you. Indiscriminately, I'm going to shoot into a bush outside of my house because there should be no one and nothing there anyway. You shouldn't be there. So when you catch a stray from all of my random shooting, unoyetsang go jarateng yaka wena o tlo itjwetsa gore ke discount. Unoyetsang chilling outside of my ministry wena clicking on me thinking ukuthi ungathakatha extra because akunamuntu obukele i-content yami. Anginama-donation, anginamali, anginamsebenzi. Umwenzani ejardini? Mwenzani etshwaneni lakithi? What were you doing making like a freaking weed in my grass? So of course, when I indiscriminately shoot without seeing what I'm shooting, Baga, when you catch a stray, you had to go because what were you doing in my freaking grass? I'm gonna put you in the ground. One after the other, you will drop like dominoes. Keep on sowing discord or make like nice little Hamas soldiers and freaking retreat. Surrender. Wave a white flag. Make like Hezbollah militants. After your leaders keep on getting shot dead, I came to learn that the brand spanking newly appointed leader of Hezbollah that was to replace Nasrallah, I think it's the third or the fourth one, even he got eliminated by the IDF. I banele batla go nna le eliminatwa ke IDF because like you keep on trying to assassinate Israeli people. You will catch a stray, do you understand? Like Yahya Sinwar, Hamas, you will catch a stray. Recently, they tried to assassinate Bibi Netanyahu and his family. He wasn't at home. You will keep on targeting me. You will keep on targeting God's people. They will dodge those bullets. However, you, with a precision-guided missile, will literally have your entire house. Do not say I did not warn you. The Lord has a thing about throwing everybody of the camp of these crazy people even into a pit. We know in Korah's rebellion, all of the people that participated in that particular mutiny, families were thrown in. Haman was hung with his whole family. Daniel in the lion's den, the satraps and the administrators, yeah, their whole families, wives and kids and everything were put in that lion's den and made breakfast for beasts. Made breakfast for animals. So you are putting your wives in harm's way. I did say you are going to be destroyed. I will shoot indiscriminately because you are trespassing. You do not get to keep on stealing God's people and ripping out the apple of his eye and anticipate that God is not going to just lay waste flat your entire property, because after all, you did try to kill Bibi and his whole family by sending some kind of a projectile, a drone, to land. Hezbollah. So I mean really, you had it coming. When you are getting mowed to the ground with your entire families, God is not mean. You are not responsible enough covering your own children with the protection of God. You did not put the Passover blood over your household so that your firstborn children will not die. You are putting your own kids in harm's way. Do not say I did not warn you. I warned you, and I warned you some more. Your hatred of prophecy reminds me of the very last passage of God's word that I'm now going to read before I finally seal this message. Jeremiah out here prophesied to Baruch, and Baruch did what? Washisa scroll. Because y'all don't appropriately respond to prophecy, I'm trying to help you understand that whether or not you burn the scroll, prophecy gets fulfilled. So whether or not you dislike what I'm saying and you still think Uguti, I'm cheap like an item on a pawn store shelf, is irrelevant. What is rather important right now to gauge is that what I'm saying is going to happen, and you will catch the fire of someone shooting into a bush because they felt something moving at night. There should be nothing there. And then in the morning, the coroners will come and pick up 10 bodies. Didn't realize there were so many of them. Oh my. Jeremiah 36, it reads, it's quite long, so we'll be here for a minute. In the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, this word came to Jeremiah from the Lord. Take a scroll and write on it all the words that I have spoken to you against Israel and Judah and all the nations, from the day I spoke to you, from the days of Josiah until today. It may be that the house of Judah will hear all the disaster that I intend to do to them, so that so that everyone may turn from his evil way, and that I may forgive their iniquity and their sin. You see, there's always the caveat that if you do better, it doesn't have to end like this. Then Jeremiah called Baruch the son of Neriah, and Baruch wrote on a scroll at the dictation of Jeremiah all the words of the Lord that he had spoken to him. And Jeremiah ordered Baruch, saying, I am banned from going to the house of the Lord, because they keep banning God's people. So you are to go, and on the day of fasting, in the hearing of all the people in the Lord's house, you shall read the words of the Lord from the scroll that you have written at my dictation. You shall read them also in the hearing of all the men of Judah who came out of their cities. It may be that their plea for mercy will come before the Lord, and that everyone will turn from his evil way. For great is the anger and wrath that the Lord has pronounced against this people. And Baruch the son of Neriah did all that Jeremiah the prophet ordered him about reading from the scroll the words of the Lord in the Lord's house. In the 5th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, in the 9th month, all the people in Jerusalem and all the people who came from the cities of Judah to Jerusalem proclaimed a fast before the Lord. Then, in the hearing of all the people, Baruch read the words of Jeremiah from the scroll in the house of the Lord, in the chamber of Gemariah, the son of Shaphan, the secretary, which was in the upper court at the entry of the new gate of the Lord's house. When Micaiah, the son of Gemariah, son of Shaphan, heard all the words of the Lord from the scroll, he went down to the king's house, into the secretary's chamber, and all the officials were sitting there. Elishama the secretary, Delaiah the son of Shemaiah, Elnathan the son of Achbor, Gemariah the son of Shaphan, Zedekiah the son of Hananiah, all the officials. And Micaiah told them all the words that he had heard, when Baruch read the scroll in the hearing of the people. Then all the officials sent Jehudi, the son of Nethaniah, son of Shalmiah, son of Cushi, to say to Baruch, take in your hand the scroll that you read in the hearing of the people, and come. So Baruch the son of Neriah took the scroll in his hand and came to them, and they said to him, sit down and read it. So Baruch read it to them. When they heard all the words, they turned one to another in fear, as they ought. Where am I? And they said to Baruch, we must report all these words to the king. That's what I'm getting at. Then they asked Baruch, tell us, please, how did you write all these words? Was it at his dictation? ? Baruch answered them, he dictated all these words to me while I wrote them with ink on the scroll. Then the officials said to Baruch, go and hide, you and Jeremiah, and let no one know where you are. Because their king was just that rebellious, right? So they went into the court to the king, having put the scroll in the chamber of Elishama, the secretary, and they reported all the words to the king. Then the king sent Jehudi to get the scroll, and he took it from the chamber of Elishama, the secretary. And Jehudi read it to the king and all the officials who stood beside the king. It was the 9th month, and the king was sitting in the winter house, and there was a fire burning in the fire pot before him. As Jehudi read 3 or 4 columns, the king would cut them off with a knife and throw them into the fire in the pot until the entire scroll was consumed in the fire that was in the fire pot. Are you not just like King Jehoiakim? Yet neither the king nor any of his servants who heard all these words was afraid, nor did they tear their garments, while the people, however, of the land did. Even when Elnathan and Delaiah and Gemariah urged the king not to burn the scroll, he would not listen to them. And the king commanded Jerahmeel, the king's son, and Seraiah, the son of Azriel, and Shelemiah, the son of Abdeel, to seize Baruch and the secretary and Jeremiah the prophet. But the Lord hid them. Remember, they were told to hide. Now after the king had burned the scroll with the words that Baruch wrote at Jeremiah's dictation, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah. Take another scroll and write on it all the former words that were in the first scroll with Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, which Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, has burned. And concerning Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, you shall say, Thus says the Lord, you have burned the scroll, saying, Why have you written in it the king of Babylon will certainly come and destroy this land and will cut off from it man and beast. So, I mean, really, when you get prophesied to that another kingdom is going to take your land over, and then God is going to cut from it man and beast, essentially lots of death is coming, and you as a king don't respond appropriately, you are setting your country up for failure, even though your countrymen have feared what in the world is going on. It's like the Pharaoh of Egypt that Alger did not listen to God's decree to set the people of God free, and then he caused a desolation in all of Egypt. I did say that when a wicked king reigns and rules, the people on the ground reel and mourn, while a righteous king causes people to rejoice and celebrate. A lot of y'all men are in positions of honor. You are CEOs in companies, you are heading towards presidency in the country, you are municipal councillors, you are essentially something important. And yet you do not listen to God at the expense of your countrymen. You are a gangrene in South Africa, you are the Taliban. It is a state capture, I've said this before. It's a hostile takeover. This witchcraft, power-hungry, Mamlambo and Tigoloshi carrying twalified leadership of the country, be it in the private or the public sector, is a gangrene in South Africa. Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning Jehoiakim, king of Judah, he shall have none to sit on the throne of David, and his dead body shall be cast out to the heat by day and frost by night. Like when God should be prophesying death over you, and you still go back to the drawing board. And I will punish him and his offspring and his servants for their iniquity. I will bring upon them and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem and upon the people of Judah all the disaster that I have pronounced against them, but they would not hear. Then Jeremiah took another scroll and gave it to Baruch the scribe, the son of Neriah, who wrote on it the dictation of Jeremiah, all the words of the scroll that Jehoiakim, king of Judah, had burnt in the fire, and many similar words were added to them. Yeah. That's Jeremiah 36. I love this passage because it speaks about the recalcitrant, obstinate nature of South Africa. You will die with your kings because of the obstinacy therein. When you don't repent as a people, you will be given wicked kings, wicked leaders. So take your country that hides the prophets of God. Take your country that makes people eat meager portions of bread and water after telling you that you're going to die. Take your country that takes the servants of God that have warned that you must repent, and then puts them in prison, makes them live in little shacks at the backs of their mom's house together, dust, eating meager portions of bread and water, coupled with the fact that you then get them yelled at by family members who also are like, what do you call this? Nazareth. Prophet has no honor among his own people. So you go and you get Karabo chikat by her family, mistreated by her family, and then you claim that you are the rescuer of Cinderella, and then you have brazen, ugly little words on your mouth, out here with your crazy derision, saying that me, I'm a nicely discounted piece of meat on an FMCG shelf that's out here selling stuff for sale. Yeah, you'll get listeriosis from trying to consume me, because I'm poisonous that way. That's what's good. Le rubbish. That's it. Nonsense. I have prayed and stood in the gap and asked the Lord not to fulfill this thing. Let the witchcraft not work. But should my mother not exercise self-control, I'm telling you right now, I will recover, and so will she. And after giving me a talking to for nothing at all, she will feel like trash, and then she will treat me better, and I will likely get a respite for another 4 to 5 months before she will be at my neck again. I have worked very hard on my family. It has taken years, and in the case of my most recent addition of crazy, it's taken a few months, but I have some kind of a semblance of peace, mojarateng, such that all I have to fight with are the snakes in my grass. The outingana zeng the pimp out here trying to prostitute some innocent women, trying to make women out here take money in exchange for sex. That's what's good. Blind as a bat, I will just indiscriminately unleash live rounds, and in the morning coroners will come and pick all of y'all up, and I will be rightly within my place to do such a thing as that, because you will have been a trespassing. Don't say I didn't warn you. I'm signing out in Christ's name. Crank, all you who yell claiming that you're innocent, you will die. The last little emoji is a ghost. Lo tlhokafala. Bye.